Pavel Datsyuk looks like he's back in uniform. Jeff and the boy, you look mesmerized by it.
Oh, I'm just ecstatic for it.
Yes. Big St. Everybody's happy in St. Louis and in the crease with Tommy G.
What's that?
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Crease of Tommy C. And I got Mr. Jeff the Huffman here, subbing in for a dead-on Dave who has had his internet box blew up. Did you know that? He will be offline.
Yeah.
Offline for the next 2 to 3 days. The good thing about the German mail system is when they say they're sending something, they send it. And he'll be back up, and no wrestling for a few days, no in the crease for a few days. I guess he's just gonna whine in the chat the next couple days. And the funniest, best part is that he was so hot on getting that stupid video game. What is it called?
Fallout 4?
Yeah. No, he can't play it. And I know what that feels like. It seems like whenever I get something like a really good video game or something, I always gotta go to like a family meeting or some shit like that.
I've touched my PlayStation once since school started.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I guess gaming's over for you.
Well, it may be coming back next semester. I got some good times for classes.
All right, it's good stuff. You know, at least you're like a lot more responsible than those jack-offs at Yale University in Missouri.
Zoo.
Oh, my God. I heard one of the girls over there, she goes, "You have to make a home for us over here." Since when is university a home?
I'm offended by what you say, so...
Fuck you! Do you see that? I mean, the college dean. Like, I'm sorry, I disagree with you. Fuck you! Who the fuck hired you? I mean, this is why people think I'm nuts. This is why you stand up to the Patrick Kane moral panic nuts, because what happens is they've lost that battle over there on the university campuses, and now we have a witch hunt mentality. Now we have a complete and total circus. And that's why it's a good thing to stick up for Patrick Kane. I'll be honest with you, because you don't want it to end up, you don't want to see in the NHL what's going on over there. And I want to, first of all, just get into Pavel Datsyuk, and before I get into any of that crap. Detroit, 37-year-old, oh, he's getting old. Detroit Red Wing forward Pavel Datsyuk could make his season debut this Friday versus San Jose Sharks. Coach Jeff Bashill, am I saying his name right?
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah, who cares? I don't care. It's not like we're pros or anything. Told the Red Wings website this Tuesday. So Datsyuk will get back in the lineup. My question to you, Jeff the Huff man. At his age, do you have confidence that he's going to make an impact? Because I think that's questionable. He's been injured a lot the last 2 years. Very Martin Brodeur-esque. When he's in the lineup, it seems to be effective, but you got to wonder that one day he steps on the ice and it just doesn't happen anymore. Do you think this is it? You're probably hoping, but
well, I mean, being a Blues fan, I mean, I love to see the Red Wings fail, but last year he had a very solid season, 26 goals, 65 points, and only played in 63 games. And we've seen what Yager's doing down there in Florida. I mean, I'm not saying Pavel Datsyuk is Jaromir Jagr, but I mean, we've seen Datsyuk been able to do things that just, not many people can do. The Red Wings, they're an average team right now, sitting at 7-6-1, and I think the addition of Datsyuk, I mean, it can only benefit them.
It can only hurt. I just wonder when these guys like kind of crap out like Marty did, and Marty really probably could have played in a different era. Or back. Look, Martin Brodeur doesn't want to be a backup goalie, and I don't think Pavel Datsyuk wants to be a fourth liner. It's just interesting, and I really think it has everything to do with your personal DNA and your work ethic, and as far as keeping yourself in shape through the years. Look at your
anybody can come back from a ruptured Achilles.
Yeah.
Hey, you got my respect. So.
Yeah, you got my respect, but does your body give a shit? I mean, that's what I wonder about all the time. Does your body care? But certainly him coming back, I know Dave's got him in his fantasy league, and the only reason I lost my fantasy league is because I couldn't get on the internet. And now I guess Dave will lose. He's got to add, unless he has. See, he can add an app to his phone because I don't have internet on my phone. And he should be good after that.
Who's he playing? Who's he playing this week?
That's a damn good question. Why don't we? That's.
I just had it up and I took it
I'm
down.
2-2 now. I should be 3 because I had it over Debbie like a. Ugh, I was about to finish her off.
Pull it up.
Here we
Pull it
go.
up.
Let's go. Let's take a look at the league overview. Here it comes. Dave's playing. Oh boy, he's playing. Although neither player had a game. None of his players had a game last night. He's playing Finnish Newsflash, which is who's tearing up the league.
Oh
Who
yeah.
is 4-0-0. You know, Dave was telling me having a last draft pick in these fantasy drafts is like having a first. If you get the first or the last one, it's better. So we can't give Finnish Newsflash all sorts of credit because you get double up the picks. It's better to finish dead last than it is the middle. That's basically what
Karn
I've
got
been told.
14-point lead on me. Oh, you had freaking Domi who scored 2 last night. Go figure.
You know what's really funny? Look at
It was one game.
Fucking Matt was playing my wife, and he had no players playing, so she was guaranteed to do something else, or she was guaranteed to score. She guaranteed to get a point, but she finished up -2. You know why? Because she had Corey Perry, and he got -2 fan points and went -2 for the damn game. So
I think a lot of players on the Ducks are going -2 right now.
God,
So
they're awful. What's wrong with those teams? What's wrong with
I
those
don't get it with all the names on that team.
I don't know. They got Stanley Cup
All the people
experience. Did you think the
I mean,
loss to the
they-
Blackhawks
they've-
just took everything out of them emotionally? You know,
I don't know. I mean, it could just be a team not meeting expectations. I mean, they actually have over 20 goals now. So I mean, that's a positive sign.
That's a good sign. I don't know. I do get the feeling the Ducks will get it together, but maybe creep
Still
back
good
into the
for
playoffs.
last in the league.
Yeah, I think they'll back into the playoffs more than likely. I cannot picture a world where the Ducks don't make the playoffs and don't get this together.
That team's too good. That team's too good.
I think it's just a matter of there's a lot of guys cold all at the same time, and I think it's just what is that? Blind, horrible, bad luck. Let's see.
That's a complete opposite of the Canadians. Everybody's hot.
Yeah, every line goes out to the ice with a purpose, and you can see it the way they play. They're not screwing around.
Total team effort.
Total team effort. They're deep from the round, and they don't seem like they're whining and crying. They're focused. They're not getting distracted by silly things that they tend to get distracted by in years past. They seem to know what the hell they're doing now. I think they're a huge threat. We may see if they can figure out how to transfer what they have now and not burn out like Nashville did last year, they're going to be a serious threat in the playoffs. And now that I have that, Carey Price is out one more week. It might not even matter all that much. And
Yeah, it doesn't really matter because what's his name? Condon,
I think.
Yeah, Condon. He's playing unreal right now. His goals against is ridiculous. And you know how this is a total team effort. I'm going to read you this right here. This is the plus minus leaders in the league. This is the top 30. I'm going to read you every Canadian name on here.
You're going to make I'm going to let you read this, but you're going to make every single advanced stat person completely insane, which is why I'm allowing you to do this, because I don't care about stats one way or another, because that's the stat they hate the most. But go right ahead. Who are the top in plus minus in the NHL right now? Go ahead.
This is just all the Canadians in the top 30. You got Subban, number 1. Number 5, Pacioretty. Number 6, Gallagher. 7, Markov. 8, Plekanec. 18, Desharnais. 20, Weiss. 25, Gilbert. 27, Fleischmann.
Jesus. Well, what do you say to people that say plus minus doesn't mean anything?
Well, I think that means that they're on the ice more. They're scoring more goals than the other team.
Yeah, I think that's and maybe that's the simple stats are what counts the most. I wonder that.
With Condon with his 1.157 goals against, he's not letting anything in. So I think that's good.
I gotta be honest with you. I mean, I'm not a big believer in plus minus either, but I mean, it certainly shows that your team's producing. I mean, even
when you have that many guys,
that says something.
Around the same area right there.
Yeah, if you have a guy with a talented guy, let's say like an Olvey who has a ridiculous minus, or somebody with some defenseman with a ridiculous plus, it doesn't really mean anything. But I mean, we talked about depth before; they have it, and I think when you have a group of players that have that are all in pluses or at top of the plus minus boards, I think that has to say something whether the stat itself is flawed or not. They're winning. They're at the top of the plus minus. The scoring is even down the line. The guys are. I mean, how huge is that for a goalie to step up in a situation like? I mean, Carey Price started the start of the season so strong. That's huge shoes to fill. That's exactly what you need from a backup goalie, and you really can't always expect it. Conan comes up big, and the Canadians
like
they
haven't lost a step.
Well, you notice the first team that beat them though. The team I've been keeping my eye on a little bit is the damn Vancouver Canucks. Not my favorite team in the world, but
are they anybody's favorite team really?
God, I don't know. Well, they're playing well this year. They seem to have it together this year. I think they're going to do some damage. Something tells me, especially with Calgary being absolutely nothing. Calgary showing themselves to be an absolute.
Oh, Calgary is the Colorado Avalanche from 2 years ago.
I guess so. But the Colorado, they were dominant the year they freaking fizzled out and then didn't make the playoffs the next year. Calgary was just, I mean, everything says they should lose, but there's something.
I mean,
yeah,
Johnny Hockey's still putting up the points, but
they just got hot. I think that's it. Oh, look, Johnny Hockey is going to be premier player. I mean, there's no.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. I mean, Igor Larionov says he has the ability to create like the great player. So I mean, that's a big. I mean, he's going to be one of those super skill players for years to come, whether he's on Calgary or not, and hopefully he is, and he can do what one of my favorite players, Jerome McGinley, was never able to do, and bring that team a Stanley Cup, which would be great, as long as the Rangers aren't on the other end. I want to talk about this. I have when you're right, you're right. That's I've been bashing Wyshynski lately. When you're right, you're right. But this is what he wrote and this is going to be huge for me, for anybody that knows me. This is what he wrote. It's hard to imagine that Lindros will not be in next year, referring to the Hockey Hall of Fame, and only because it's the most obvious candidate in a down year. Lindros is 19th in NHL history in scoring points per game with an average 1.138. He won the Hart and the Pearson Trophy in '99. By the way, Yager deserved the Hart that year, so if you can that. I think he had more stats all around, but they were ready to anoint Lindros the next Mario Lemieux at that point. He had just 760 NHL games, and at the end of his career, he spent in concussion hell. Actually, in the beginning too, he had concussion problems from right off. If Cam Neely is in the Hall of Famer, then Eric Lindros, without question, should be a Hall of Famer, paraphrasing, unless this is more about his character and decision-making than his legacy on the ice. I will give Greg credit. The only reason Eric Lindros, I begrudgingly say this, is one of my most hated players of all time, somebody I just didn't like for the reasons he said. He had lousy character, and he just wasn't a good guy. I don't think he was just such a hot person. But if I put these stats up for you, look at this. If you think Cam Neely belongs in the Hall of Fame, he has 726 games. Lindros has a 760. They have almost identical goals. Identical goals. I screwed up the P over there. Lindros has almost has a little more than 150 more assists than Cam Neely. He has almost 200 more points than Cam Neely, more penalty minutes. Cam Neely was a guy that I would say without a doubt was a Hall of Famer. He was frightening with the puck. He could intimidate. He had skill. He could play defense. He was a hard checker. He's everything you want. He was a scary, scary player, really right up there with, when I was a kid, it was Gretzky, Lemieux, and Neely. And Neely's career was cut short by an injury from Ulf Samuelsson. And then sort of Yager and Yzerman sort of filled that spot afterwards. So I do believe that Cam Neely belongs in the Hall of Fame. And if you believe that too, I think there's no argument here with looking at these statistics. Eric Lindros, the Great 88, or whatever they used to call him. I forgot what they used to call the Big Train. I don't know. He had 10 million dumb nicknames. Eric Lindros, I'm saying this begrudgingly, belongs in the Hall of Fame. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, I always enjoyed watching him. I wouldn't say perform very well. I remember he had a brief stint with Dallas, and they were playing the Blues that night, and him and Barrett Jackman
were
going at it.
By then. He was absolutely shot by then, though.
Yeah, him and Jackman were going at it the whole night, and Jackman just kept putting Lindros on his ass and just making him look like a bitch. And it was
It was
very
over.
fun to it was very fun to watch. But I mean, yeah, you look at that stuff right there. I mean, yeah, I mean, he is Hall of
Lindros,
Famer.
and when Lindros, if you saw Flyers Lindros, in fairness to him, he would have kicked the ever living shit out of Jackman if
Live
he was on
anywhere
either
near up to
team.
where anybody thought anybody thought he could be, but still.
You know, in the regular season, yeah, I mean, when the games were big, and if that keeps you out of the Hall of Fame, if that's the argument, when the games were big, whether they were for Team Canada or against the Detroit Red Wings in 1997. No, he never really quite showed up. He wasn't a factor for Team Canada in the World Cup in 1996. He was not a factor for Team Canada in 1998, who did not win the gold that year. The Czech Republic won the gold that year. He reportedly slept with players' wives while he was captain. Rod Brindamore. I don't know if that's ever been confirmed, but that's the report, especially around South Jersey. He seemed aloof, arrogant, a lot like another player we know in Pittsburgh. But looking at those stats, remember what he was like. He had the most deceptive slap shot I've ever seen in my life. It was almost like half cocked, and it was a rocket and deadly accurate. He could hit. He was a force to be reckoned with. He was on one of the most dominant lines in an era where it was very difficult to score goals, and I think that really says the most about him in the dead puck era. The Legion of Doom line with Leclerc and was it Renberg? Yeah, Leclerc and Renberg. I don't see how you keep this guy off. I don't see. I'd actually be really
I don't
interested
either.
to hear what Patrick Lynn has to say. I mean, I'm sure he won't disagree with me, but you're talking to a guy that had a Lindros dartboard growing up. You know, I literally had a Lindros. I couldn't stand the guy for the same reasons I don't like Sidney Crosby. I always felt like he was shoved down my throat. But that being said, if you're good, you're good, and I think I thought that was something interesting to bring up. Oh, did you watch yesterday's episode by any chance?
I did.
Yeah, I got some reports. I also got a report from. Although for some reason the message didn't actually record from our buddy, the Irishman Morrison in Long Island, who's a huge Islander fan, and he left me a message, but it didn't seem to work out. But I did get some reviews from people that had been to the Barclays Center, or
yeah,
at least they claim to have been to the Barclays Center, and I want to read them. Little Estito says his Little Estito's dad. Even my dad says the area around the Barclays Center is, well, let's just say it's not hockey folk. Well, I don't know. Does that mean it's safe, Little Estito? What are you trying to say there? But plus, and
I think I know what he's trying to say.
Yeah, I think I know what he's trying to say too. But I mean, you know, I heard they have a pretty good. You know, the one thing that it gets me is the train complaint. The train seems great. Unless you can't drink on the train. Yeah, you take the subway right into the damn stadium. It's the best thing. I grew up taking.
Yeah, but I mean, when I went to New York a couple years ago, geez, that was over 5 years ago already.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the subway. I loved going on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but I did. It took me right where we were going.
You got to remember, most of the Islanders fans are from Long Island, so they have to take a pretty decent train ride from Long Island to through Queens and all the way to Brooklyn. Sounds like fun to me. You don't have to worry about, you know, drunk driving or anything like that.
Right.
This is what Ken Morrison said. Let me tell you something. You could put the Islanders in my backyard and makeshift ice rink, and if they're winning games, there are a lot of people who show up, and it's proven over time. That's true. If the Islanders win, people will show up. If the Islanders win, they will come. They will.
Keep in mind that even though attendance has been down, the Mets just got through being in the World Series. I mean, so that may have played a part into it. But
well, yeah, I guess in Queens. But I mean, they're complaining about the
maybe
view.
Maybe that's a big maybe. But
all right, here's Morrison on the subway. Plus, it was fun getting on the train, drinking some beers on the way to the game. We used to be outside of the parking lot before every game. I hate tailgating. I think it sucks, especially in the cold. Drinking beers, shooting around, but I thought I would miss it big time. But it's a different type of experience now, going on the train. Now, that's how my experience going to the Garden was, taking New Jersey Transit right into the Garden. Like you literally just, you know, I get off the train, I'm in the Garden. So I don't see why that's a big deal.
They're not used to the change yet. They're not used to it yet.
Yeah, I think some of this is kind of overblown by the media. This is Adam Ben. Let's see, who else had somebody. Devilsaholic. He's a big Jersey guy. I sat in section 6 by the blue line, technically row 3. For Devils Islanders, the view was horrendous. The seats behind the nets, contact the path behind each bench. There's a lounge. I am going to pre-read everything that I put on when people read on here. There's a lounge called the Huda Lounge. They drilled a hole, and you can see it through the ice. It's awful. There's a freaking car in the corner.
I'm gonna go to Google and see just with the images I can.
There's a freaking car in the corner who does that. They do it in Europe, by the way. They even curtained off one section, the lower level, as well as because you can't see the corners. So I guess if you're on the upper tier, you can't see the game. That's bad news. And I think Devils a Hall that grew up in a similar neighborhood than I did. People from that area don't have the money to get really good seats. I have a feeling I could be wrong. Kenny's got season tickets or some kind of package, so maybe he's got a little better seats. So I mean, some people say it's great, some people say it's not, and I think it'll probably settle itself out. I don't know.
I mean, that's something they can always go in like during the off season and play with. They can always change stuff around.
I don't see. I don't know what they can because is the ice the ice still off center with the damn with the scoreboard like it was last year?
I'm looking at basketball here, and yeah, that's definitely off center.
That looks awful.
The ice is off center too. Here, I'll
see
if I can send this to you. This is the image URL.
Yeah, forget it because it's gonna be too much downtime by the time. But
I got you.
You got me?
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Let me take a look. Let me take a look. Download this. Put it up. See, this is the problem. You have to do that. You have to do too much stuff. That's the problem.
That's the seating chart there.
Oh, Jesus.
So it kind of gives you a
It
grasp.
didn't even go through. There's something weird. Yeah. It didn't even
go
work.
through.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you go to Google.
That's why I don't.
You go to Google. You can see it.
Yeah. Go to Google. Don't come with us. Also, more Philadelphia Flyers, Rude. It is actually an anniversary of a very tragic day in hockey, definitely big in South Jersey, Philly. Today is the 30th anniversary of the death of Pele Lindbergh. He crashed his Porsche, injured two other people, died shortly afterwards in Somerdale, New Jersey. For those who don't remember Pele Lindbergh, let me actually get some stuff up here. He was really the future of the Flyers, and he is considered somewhat of a god. Was somewhat of a god over there, and he's also famous for his really super creepy Mega Jason mask, which was it's like Jason 2.0. He died November 11th in 1985. Can you believe that? 30 years ago. I do remember this pretty clearly because this really, you want to see tough guys cry. The Philadelphia Flyer fans really took this to heart. He was drafted 35th overall. Being a Swedish player when not too many Europeans, it wasn't unheard of that European players came over, but he still actually managed to make it through. It wasn't as common. The league was almost like 70% Canadian and on just about every team. He won the Vezina Trophy in 84-85, so that lets you know he wins the Vezina Trophy, he starts the next season, and he's dead by this time. He's dead by November. The first European goaltender in history to do so. So more than likely, and he was a first-team All-Star the year before. So more than likely, Pele Lindbergh was going to be a superstar. He's still respected. I think his number's retired in Philadelphia. He's a tremendous player. Everybody remembers. I'm sure if you don't know who Pele is, you do know this image. And I thought, especially for Pat in South Jersey, I thought because I remember this being a very big deal when I was a kid. I was 9 years old, and it was very, very tragic indeed. And not to get on the, I'm a live and let live type of person. You want to go fuck yourself up, that's fine with me. But hey man, can't drink and drive, dude. And it was in those days, it was kind of like, you can get away with it. It's for shit like Pele Lindbergh getting killed that we have ridiculous. You can't even have a half a drink anymore, and maybe that's a damn good thing. So that's my little tribute to Pele Lindbergh. Look him up; he's a great goalie. I'm sure they have some clips on YouTube. I like Gary Bettman. I do. I know this is going to be difficult for the fans to grasp, but I do. I make no apologies for liking Gary Bettman. And here's why. You will understand. I have an audio clip that I took, and you need to hear it. And here is Gary Bettman.
Gary, in terms of expansion, I know you said there's been no timeline, but with the Board of Governors coming up, we've seen reports that there will be no decision.
That's correct.
That's accurate?
That's accurate.
So when would be the timeline in terms of
There is no time. No, you said it in your question.
I know.
There is no
set you up
timeline.
That's why I like Gary Bettman. No bullshit. Now, Gary Bettman has made a lot of dumb decisions over the years. I think expanding in Florida, but I do think he had the best intentions.
Hey, he's no Roger Goodell.
Exactly, and I think that's the point. I like Gary Bettman. First of all, the strikes weren't his fault; they were the owner's fault. He was acting. The owner's fault. They were the lockouts, I should say. The lockouts weren't his fault. He was acting as a representative on the owner's behalf. You might say to me, "Well, that's not what a commissioner does." Well, that's what he does, and he's pretty much made that quite clear from the very beginning. The owner in 1995, in 2004, and in 2000 was it 12-13 season? Was it? Yeah, I think that was the half season.
Yeah.
The owners could have put the kibosh on that every single time, but Gary Bettman is in the spotlight, gets the blame. Don't agree with all his decisions, but he's also fighting the good fight and standing up to the concussion madness. Hockey is innately a dangerous game, and there will be concussions. I have a little trouble.
Speaking of which, I saw something a little on that, saying that U.S. soccer is planning on banning heading the ball.
I've been talking about that for a year on here. This first started on this is madness. I don't even know how many concussions you get from heading the ball, and it's an integral part of the game.
Getting hit in your head is not good.
How many soccer players? I mean, I live in Europe. How many soccer players are walking around like Evander Holyfield? None. I mean, playing sports have a certain innate amount of risk, and I'm not even sure that's a problem. U.S. soccer banning headers. Well, that's going to be really good. That's going to be really good because when those players don't learn that extremely important skill, you think they're going to be able to compete with the Europeans that are allowed to do it because they're not having these concussion madness fits? And that's why I like Gary Bettman. He's standing up to him. Most of you guys that hate Bettman for basically you don't really understand why you do, you just do. You're going to miss him. When you, and this is the way it'll sound. It's going to sound like this. We need somebody that is more in tune with today's problem. Gary Bettman didn't care about players. He doesn't take concussions seriously. And then you get Roger Goodell paying everybody off and really having nothing to show for it. So I like Gary Bettman. He stands up. Has he made some dopey decisions? Yeah. The expansion stuff is ridiculous. I don't even think they should expand. I think they should. But, I mean, look, he's a businessman. He's trying to spread the product. How do you make the game bigger? You spread it to more places. It didn't work. I like the logic behind it at the time. It didn't work. Shootout wasn't so hot, but that wasn't always 100% him. He's standing up to these people, and he can stand up to stupid questions. Listen to this question. It's unbelievable. He answers his own question,
That's correct. That's accurate.
That's accurate.
So when would be the timeline in terms of
There is no time. No, you said it in your question.
I know.
There is no time.
I know. I'm a dope. Anybody who wants to be a media person when they grow up should be ashamed of themselves. I'd rather. I swear to God, if my daughter sat me down and said this, and look, Daddy, I got to tell you something. I got to tell you something. I'm gay. I'd be like, oh God, I feel so relieved. Why? Because I thought you were going to tell me you're going to be a fucking reporter. God, they're so annoying. Let's check the fans in the chat. I've been seeing a whole lot of ducks.
We got Dr. D, Deb's in there, Yamaha Nation.
Yamaha Nation, Lindros would be in the Hall of Fame had he stayed with the Nordiques. I don't know that because I do realize that the Nordiques thing did put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. Absolutely. The ridiculous thing, I don't want to learn French, and it was really there was money reasons he didn't go to Quebec. That was the bottom line. Everybody knew it. He made a bunch of lame excuses. But I got to be honest, his behavior in Philadelphia, like I said, he's aloof, he's arrogant. I don't know how bright he was. I think that really played into his fact that he pissed off reporters, that he was nasty to referees. I think that played a lot into this. He was like Sidney Crosby, but Sidney's a smart guy. He knows how to handle himself. Eric, he's like a big dumb jock. The Islanders have to win. Winning cures all problems. It's not going to be able to make you see. It's not going to be able to make you see the ice any
And by
better.
the way, I found some great pictures on Google.
Go check them out. Tommy, do you think they can adjust the arena? Don't know. I'm not a construction guy. I'd be lying to you. I think things will work itself out. I think they'll find ways around it, but no.
I think they can.
Morrison's reporting that this is now a temporary home and they're going to rebuild the Nassau Mausoleum. And I'm not seeing that anywhere. Maybe he knows something I don't. I mean, he's in Long Island. Maybe they're trying to pass something. I know some politician didn't get elected basically because she didn't fight to keep the Islanders in Long Island, which does make sense. Nobody was going to see them. But yeah, winning cures all, and I have no idea. I'm not a construction guy, but I do know New York construction is corrupt from the top down. It's amazing. It's amazing they rebuilt the World Trade Center. I got to be honest with you. I'm surprised that it took them 14 years, but they did finally figure that out. I'm saying he would be in if he stayed with and won those Stanley Cups. Good point. But there's always a chance he would have got traded. Everybody that was involved in the Lindros trade, the Rangers and the Nordiques, went on to win Stanley Cups. Only team that didn't was the guys that won Lindros, the Philadelphia Flyers. The Rangers would have had to trade Alexei Kolovalov, Mike Richter, and a slew of other guys that they could not have won the cup without. So, yeah, good point.
It's a team game.
The Barclays Center will get renovated eventually. God, the damn thing's not 10 years old. And most likely have a new scoreboard. Well, I hope it does. I don't wish the Islanders ill in the sense where I hope they don't succeed. I remember when I was a kid, when they changed their jerseys, the Stan Fischler jersey, the Fish Sticks jersey, people were like, this will be the end of the Islanders. They'll go away. Well, why do you want that? You won't even get the cool rivalry. I remember I was upset when Pat LaFontaine left. Because I hated him, and I loved hating him. I miss Marty. I miss Marty a lot. I don't know why you want the team to do bad. I want the team to do well, and I don't want to beat my team, but I want them to be healthy. Frank from Staten Island. You think the building will go down? I don't know. You're asking the wrong fucking guy. I got to stop taking these goddamn questions. I don't know anything. You guys live in New York. I don't know anything anymore. I live in Germany. I don't know nothing. It's every time I go home, it becomes more and more unrecognizable. You have anything else, bud?
No, I think that'll pretty much do it.
Good show, buddy. I think we'll end it again. Carey Price coming back another week. They're going to take their time, which they can afford to do. How much you want to bet if that guy Condon dropped 5? Price would be back in the lineup tomorrow or tonight.
It's amazing how those things work out.
Yeah. Hurry that up. Yeah. It's probably why they're going to get in trouble with the concussion lawsuits. Last night in the National Hockey League, Max Domi pops 2, and Michael Broca, I hope I'm pronouncing that really, get the OT goal as the Ducks blow a 2-0 lead and lose 4-3 in overtime. Very exciting game after Hall of Fame.
Sounds familiar, the Ducks blowing it.
Ducks blow. God, why do they suck so bad? I don't understand.
I need to call Emilio.
Yeah, the Ducks over there. Remember all that shit he took in the damn Twitter last year? Because he said Ducks fighting? That was so stupid. All right, tonight in the National Hockey League, St. Louis is in New Jersey to take on Jake Link's Devils, and the Carolina Hurricanes are in New York to take on the New York Rangers. Colorado Avalanche, they face off against the Philadelphia Flyers. The Vancouver Knuckleheads, they are in Columbus to take on John Tortorella and the Columbus Blue Jackets. 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, the Washington Capitals, they take on the Detroit Red Wings. Too bad old Pavel Datsyuk could not be there. You're not going to see too many Pavel Datsyuk Ovechkin face-offs. It wouldn't be horrible. Whatever. Buffalo Sabres, they take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. And the Calgary Flames are in Florida to take on the Cats. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Ottawa Center, they're in Nashville to take on the Preds. And they're playing a little better. The Jets, they take on the struggling Zach Parise-less Minnesota Wild, or North Stars. That's right, I said North Stars. 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Leafs, Dallas getting on. Jamie Benn, Sagan taking on the Leafs. I'm sure they're really frightened.
And those two are tearing it up. I mean, they got the Stars to the second best record in the league.
How do you not see them holding a Stanley Cup over their head in the next? I mean, it's Kane and Taze over there.
They need to shape up their defense a little bit, but I mean,
Comes in time.
Ben and Sagan over there, I mean, they're lighting the world on fire right now.
How good a job has that new ownership taken since they changed that jersey and the whole direction of their team? I mean,
Outstanding. I like those jerseys, by the way.
I don't mind. I like the D. And you know what? A lot of other people I know like the D. Of all genders, they like the D. Especially in Dallas, they like the D. 2 late-night games, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Yotes take the Los Angeles Kings. Something tells me to go for Arizona because I'll get some points. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. And 10:30.
Arizona is still there. I think they hold a playoff spot right now. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and Max Domi looks like the real deal Holyfield. I mean, he popped 2 last night. Every time I hear about them. Arizona's a team to watch, and they're not going to bore the shit out of you. Go watch the Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah, Duclair and Domi over there. The double Ds.
Rangers. Still wonder why the Rangers got rid of him. Last game, also a late night game. New York Islanders are in San Jose to take
Got a full slate tonight almost.
Yeah, mad games. Let me count that.
1, 2, 3, 4,
5, 6, 7, 8,
almost.
9, 10, 11, 12. Boy, I am jealous of Dr. D. Must be great to be a hockey fan and live on the West Coast, huh?
Oh, the West Coast. I don't know about that, but
yeah. Why wouldn't it be? Because then you get home from work, 4 o'clock. There's games. You can watch
true.
all of them.
That's true.
Gabby gets to watch all of them. She's like in the sort of the mid part of the country. It must be pretty good. She sits in TV. She gets her beer. She looks close and she yells at anybody that comes to the room, "Hey, get out of my cream!" Good show, Jeff. Thanks for being here.